Hey guys, so for my last build, since I am pretty burnt out at this point, I wanted to make something a little bit more tanky, and I think I succeeded in that. I decided to use the shield Flood Refuge, which goes real well with Juggernaut. We basically have infinite HP regen, as long as it's not a chaos hit exclusively. As long as there's some physical or elemental hit, we are generating a lot of life, and the more the hits, the more the regen. So the shield works real well with Juggernaut, and of course I invested a lot of money, and well, I mean, I guess it's not that much. It's about 120 divines or something like that for the whole build. But as you can see, it can tank Uber Maven pretty well. It doesn't have a crazy amount of damage, but it does do well enough, and for a build that's not even close to a mirror, to do pretty much any content that you want, aside from things that it doesn't do well, like Breach or Legion, right? Because this is a fairly slow mapper. But if you want to do ultimatums, for example, or harvests, this build's pretty good. You're pretty much never gonna die if you roll the maps with somewhat favorably, where you don't have like minus max res or things like that. So in those scenarios, this build does pretty well, and it's not that bad. But anyway, this build does not need a merc. I did later on add the merc. As you can see, I'm playing with the rallying cry merc in here, so I did add one. But if you don't want to use a merc, or if you plan on playing something similar next league and use this as a template, for example, just don't use malevolence, use pride, and you're gonna be good. But here I am using malevolence since my merc has pride, and I stacked a bunch of pride effect as well as warcry effect on him, so he does add a little bit of damage, but of course not mandatory. Even without the merc, with just your own pride, you have about 8 million. And I also forgot to use the tincture. I have a tincture actually in my backpack, but I forgot to take it out because I was mapping. So you can still get a little bit more burst damage if you want from the tincture. It goes from about 8 mil to like 12 mil or something like that. So the damage is okay for how tanky it is. I think it's reasonable, and you don't need any mirror items or anything like that. The most expensive item on this build was the axe, for which I paid 60 divines, and the rest is just, well, granted, the Watcher's Eye that I have is one of a kind, that it was cheap for some reason, so you're probably not going to be finding that one, but you can of course find the Watcher's Eye with just 2 mods, and the Pride mod was the last one that I was looking for, which I did find, but likely you're not gonna. Just the Perforate from Purity of Fire and Spell Suppression from Grace, and you're good. You are losing about 50% decreased physical damage, but you're not always gonna have like the perfect items for all of your builds, right? But regardless, the build still does well enough where it doesn't need like the triple Watcher's Eye. So if you want to make something similar, you definitely can. And yeah, I don't know. This is about it, I think, and I guess enjoy the rest of the fight, and I will see you guys probably in Path of Exile 2. Anyway, that is it for today, and for the rest of the league, probably. No promises, probably. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.
Death will not be an escape. Scurry. Take this. A cascade of pain. Stand still. Do what I say. say. A cascade of pain.
Caretaker, to me! The living toy must enjoy our contests, for it continues to play.